The seat comfort inside of the Edge is something I've always really, really liked. At least I'm a little bit wider shouldered, so I mean, sitting in this seat, really nice and comfortable. With the seat, hold on, let's go as far down and as far back as it's gonna go. With the sunroof, I've got about 3.5, almost 4 inches of headspace inside of this thing, which is pretty respectable. You're gonna find a few different types of seating material inside of the Edge, with the titanium only featuring the ActiveX seating material. So it's either gonna be cloth seats, ActiveX seating material, which is a synthetic leather, or there's gonna be a true leather seat. So it's gonna be trim level specific. But I mean, even with this thing being synthetic leather, I still think the seat's really comfortable. It's good. It's only a 2-way adjustable headrest, so you can only go up and down with it. There's no clicking, so forwards, backwards at all. Beautiful. Nice startup, nice and simple. And this is the steering wheel that you're going to find inside of the Ford Edge. So, option for the heated steering wheel, you can turn it on just inside of the multimedia screen there if you wanted to. Nice and simple. But we've got a few different pads to control what's going on with the cluster screen. So this pad is going to control the left screen. This pad is going to control the screen on the right-hand side. But if you want a full walkthrough, like you want to know how to use the different steering wheel buttons, use the adaptive cruise system, you can find that walkthrough down in the description of the video. This thing does have paddle shifters. Not going to be available across the entire Edge lineup, but you will find it in a number of Edge vehicles. Stick on the left side is for your blinkers. There's a button on the tip of that stick to turn your lane keeping system on or off. So lane keeping and lane centering are very different systems. So this one is going to nudge you back into your lane or give you a steering wheel shake if you start to veer over into a lane without signaling. Versus this one, as I said, it's going to keep you nice and balanced in your lane as you go. On the right side, it's going to be for your front wipers, and then there's a button on the tip of that stick for your rear windshield wiper as well. It's good. Now the steering wheel inside of the Edge might be power or might be manual. So this is obviously a power telescoping steering wheel. One nice thing is that when you've got the power telescoping, you can essentially set up your steering wheel the way that you'd like. You're going to set up your driver's seat the way that you'd like, side view mirror the way that you'd like, and then you're going to press and hold either 1, 2, or 3 in order for it to remember your own personal profile. You're going to be push button start across the entire vehicle lineup, and then you've got the Sync 4A media screen. So the Sync 4A screen, slight change from the 23 to the 24 model, and that this one doesn't have the built-in navigation anymore. It's strictly the connected, which means that after the connected services are up, the map essentially reverts to like a moving map instead, where you can't actually, you can see it here, you can't actually type in any destination unless you have the services activated. So you could still connect through either Android or iPhone devices to use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze, but this one you no longer have the option for the full built-in instead, unfortunately. Boo! But the factory navigation, very responsive here, and you do have the option of continuing on with the paid services if you want them. You can see there as you kind of like navigate through, so feature requires activation. So you need to log in through your Forward Pass app on your phone in order to set it up. But very straightforward. You've got factory navigation, media, so you can use, media is good. So there are tons of different options. You've got the option for AM, FM, Sirius XM. Oh, why is it going to, I guess it would help if I went radio, haha. So yeah, AM, FM, Sirius XM. If you had a phone hooked up, you can stream audio over Bluetooth, or you can connect through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay to stream music that way. And then if you have a USB stick with MP3s on it, you could also use that as an available option. The audio inside of this thing is going to be either a 6-speaker system standard in the lower trims with the 12-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system in the higher options. And the sound system is really, really good. But regardless of which sound system you use, I always just recommend going to your sound settings and dropping the treble down by like 2 points and cranking the bass by 3. It gives really good audio. Well, let's listen to this. So I'm just essentially just right from the microphone, this is how it sounds. Gonna go from 0 to halfway. A little bit under half if I need to, but the audio inside of this is really good.
Everybody just do your thing. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a...
Okay, so that was with the bass cranked a little bit and the treble down, and I wasn't even at half volume. The audio inside of this 12-speaker system is unbelievable. So if you're looking for good audio, you definitely want to go for the titanium or the ST so you can get the 12 speaker. if you want a full walkthrough, like you want to know how to use all the different buttons here, navigate through the screen, if you want to know how to set up Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you'll find that walkthrough down in the description of this video. Moving down, volume rocker, there's a tuning rocker, and then a series of other buttons. So 4-way blinkers, max defroster, and then button 4, 180 camera. So you've got your front view, 180 degree view, and then toggle off. If you drop yourself into reverse, you've got that backup view there as well. And then you can also zoom in if you wanted to. Straightforward. Now, one thing, so that you've only got like a tiny little one for your max windshield defroster, but all of the climate control settings are baked right into the screen for the Edge. So you could adjust, there's dual zone climate control inside of the Titanium, the ST, and a few other models. This is nice. You've got the option for heated and ventilated first row seats. So really straightforward there. You've got it for the driver and for the passenger side. Solid. And then you've also got your heated steering wheel button there. From there, you've got this button to have it go to your windshield face feet, some sort of combination. Turn on your heated steering wheel that way instead. Now, I know some people aren't crazy about not having the physical climate control settings anymore, but one nice thing is that using the voice command prompt, you'd be able to do things like change songs, radio stations, navigate using your voice, but you'd also have the flexibility of changing the climate using your voice instead. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but like I said, if you want to walk through on the screen, you'll find it in the description. You've got a few different buttons in order to move between media, a few USB power points, and then a wireless phone charger. So if you've got a cell phone that supports wireless charging, it is available there as an option. And then in the screen, when you've got a phone charging, it's going to let you know that there is a phone there as well. I've got a little phone holder, a few cup holders there that do feature ambient light. So if you have your lights on, yeah, you can just kind of barely make it out there. There you are. So you don't have the option for multicolor. It's strictly going to be this one ambient light choice that's available. But it's nice. You've got your rotary dial shifter, so park, reverse, neutral, drive. You can drop it into a sport mode, which gives you an infinitely sportier performance. Now inside of so it's the SE, the SEL, the ST line, and the Titanium. It's an 8-speed automatic transmission, but inside of the ST specifically, it's a 7-speed instead. So you can really play with those paddle shifters and have some fun. It's an electronic parking brake, auto start stop, which is going to kill power to the engine if you come to a stop for an extended period of time. This is a button for park assist. So whether or not you have park assist is going to depend on which model of the vehicle that you're in. So this thing has the Titanium Elite package, which is why the park assist system is there. And then this one is your reverse parking sensor. So the beeping that you get as you back up or get closer to an obstacle, you could toggle it off if you want to. There's a little storage compartment there along the outside there. So this is non-locked, but armrest there has a nice amount of storage space. Shooting out to the side, it's this nice kind of highlight along the passenger side, which looks solid. Glove box, which is fully lockable along the passenger side there. You can see there's a little 12-volt power point as well. You can also kind of make it out. There's a little cubby that you can see right through. So a tiny little bit of extra storage there. Shooting up overhead, this thing has the auto-dimming rearview mirror. Nice feel to it. It's solid. And then all of your cabin control lights and then shade controls and things like that for the panoramic sunroof. So single button press is going to open it up the full way. Which is nice. And then after that sunroof's open, you can push this button in order to be able to vent it out, or push in order to fully open the roof instead. So that's as far open as it's going to go with the first press. You can press again in order to have it go that last little bit. That's really nice. And then you can push there in order to close. Well, let's close that shade as well. From there, you've got a few lights, sunglasses holder, off to the side, garage door opener, and then there's a little receipt ticket holder, vanity mirror with lights built in, and this thing's extending out, blocking most of the sun, like a tiny little bit on the edge there, but it's pretty good overall. Only other thing to point out, a little assist handle, and that's the same for the driver, passenger side, and the first and the second row. So setting the seat up the way that I would typically drive, there you go, that's good. And with the seat set up this way inside of the second row, I've got a great amount of foot space, great amount of knee space, and up overhead is like a teeny bit tight, like an inch and a half maybe of head space. But one really cool thing about the second row seats inside of the Edge is that, they're locked in place, which is unfortunate, but along the side, so the lever that we would use in order to be able to fold the seat forwards or backwards, you can also lift. If you wanted to give yourself a really nice recline. And like with that seat recline, like 5+ inches of headspace. So if you've got taller people that need to sit inside of the second row of the Edge, you can do it. Just make sure that you recline the seats in order to ride in comfort and style. Because the second row seats inside of this thing, they are actually comfortable, which is good. Like even shifting into the middle seat, like this is one that I typically wouldn't want to sit in, but I mean, the way the foot setup is, it's really nice. There are anchor points and tether points though. So if you've got front-facing, rear-facing child seats, they will fit. You can just kind of stick the child seat inside of the middle seat if you needed to. Inside of this middle seat, you're going to find a few cup holders there built in, which is great. And other than that, there's not a ton of stuff. Like there are pockets behind the first row seat on the driver and the passenger side. You will find the option for heated second row seats. Strictly going to be for the outboard. So the middle seat is never heated inside of this thing whatsoever, but the driver passenger side, heated as an option. No ventilated though, which I think that's one thing that Ford's missed out on the Edge, in so many iterations, is they've never had ventilated second row. It's a useful feature to have. So I think that if they continue on with the Edge in the future, it's definitely something that should be added on. Now you're going to find a little storage tray, 2 USB power points or USB Type-Cs, and then there's also a 150-watt wall outlet back there too. I did mention this one has the thermoplastic rubber trays right from the factory, so it's just nice to be able to pull them off and spray them down. If you don't get the factory option, you could always look at doing an aftermarket through WeatherTech instead. Tons of options that are available there. But only other thing to point out overhead is that both sides, the driver passenger side, have a little handle with a hook and a little light. And like I said, same on the passenger side there too.